So, good evening and welcome to the first video in this short mini-series. Now this video here is because a lot of people in my group are asking me how to actually discover and decide on services to offer, and because I realise it's quite a common problem, I've decided to put this video together to hopefully help you come up with something that makes you good money. So let's get started. Now what I want to talk about is, this is basically a mindset thing really. So this P here represents a problem, okay, and over here we have got an S. So the S represents the service itself, alright. What most people will do is they will, the very first thing that they will do is they will come up with the service, alright, when what they should be doing is trying to find out the problem that they're looking to solve, right? Forget about the service completely at this point. What you need to do is find a problem, and there's loads and loads of problems out there on the internet in regards to, you know, digital problems like websites and stuff like that. So a really easy example of this would be to talk about like people who have websites that are on page like 11 or something. So say for example Bob. Alright, Bob's got a website on page 11, and like everyone, he wants to get to page 1. So the problem, the initial problem here that Bob wants to solve, right? Bob. Okay, Bob wants to obviously get to page 1, right? So there are people out there who make services for this, and I have a service for this, and I've got many people like Bob onto page 1. But to go a little bit further into what I mean here is that if you are thinking about just a service first, like for example you think to yourself, well, I can do a little bit of link building, or I can do some graphic design or something like that, you're not really thinking about how you're actually solving any problem. You're more thinking about what you can offer and just sort of hoping that it's going to get purchased by people and that, and that's why a lot of people don't make any money as a freelancer on these websites. So think about a common problem and then work your way back. So the next step would be to think of it like this. So a lot of these problems actually have like multiple like assets to it, or facets or whatever, and what you can do is you can offer a service to cater for one part of this, or this part, or this part, right? And what I mean, so stick with me here. So to get to page 1, you're going to need keywords, right? You're going to need well-researched keywords that aren't overly competitive and you know, have decent search volume. Secondly, for those keywords you're going to need content, all right? And then again, as part of that, you're going to need links, or SEO, right? So already you can see that there's different parts that you could offer Bob to solve his overall problem of getting to page 1 here. Alright, so this is a way that you can start basically catering for like a sub niche or whatever. But on top of that, there's a better way that you can do this that will actually earn you a lot more money. And when I started doing this, my income like literally went through the roof overnight. So what you want to do is find a way that you can actually bundle these things up here. And me and Chris Walker of legit.com have spoken about this, and he's told me, and in public groups and stuff, that when, after speaking to me about this, when he bundled up his services like this, he made more money and he sold more. So, and the reason is quite obvious really if you look at it. Bob doesn't want to go out there looking for this guy. He doesn't want to then have to go out there looking for someone to do this, and then he doesn't want to go out there looking for someone to do this. He just wants a one-stop shop to solve his solution. So if you can come up with a service that bundles all of these things together, whatever problem it is, then you are pretty much guaranteed to get some customers, and you could start making quite a lot of money from the get-go. If you don't have any way to bundle these things up, it's fine. You can start off with something like this or this one. But remember, even within these small areas, like these subcategories or whatever. Like links, there's all different types of links you could offer. You could offer PBN links, or you could offer social signals or citations, whatever. There's all different types of links. There's content, you've got like sales copy content, you've got standard articles, you've got web copy, you've got content for link building, stuff like that, and then keyword research is all different types of ways that you could offer those kind of services. So as you can see, there's different levels to what you can offer, but ultimately, if you want to make the most amount of money, which I'm assuming you do, talking about freelancing, by the way, just try to find a way that you can bundle up all of these things into one package and then offer that to the Bob. Okay, and that's a surefire way to make good money and come up with a good service. Secondly, this kind of rolls back to this here. I've left this diagram up here to help explain. So secondly, this goes back to what Chris Walker told me, is that another way that you can look at this is you can think of things that people don't like doing. So for example, content. I used to do content with a friend of mine in the Warrior Forum, and we made some really good money actually, but it was miserable. Okay, and that's why someone like Bob was paying us, and there was lots of Bobs paying us for this because we did a good job. It was grueling, really tough work, but me and my friend at the time knew that doing this was going to take us to different places in the future, and sure enough it did. He went off and did his own thing, and now I'm sitting here talking to you, teaching you all about this stuff. So again, as a side note, don't think that by starting off with these things that's all that's ever going to happen. Like, it's amazing when you actually see some of these guys now in the industry who are multi-millionaires. Some of them started off offering like a little bit of this, some links on Fiverr. Honestly, I know tons and tons of people now that have made millions, and they started off with little things like this. So don't overlook the power of these little services here, and especially if you have a bundle and stuff. Yeah, and that's that tip from Chris Walker, is start off with something that people actually don't like doing, and you'll have lots of people queuing up. But you have to just be prepared to do work that maybe you don't like doing as well. But if you're just talking about money, getting your foot in the door and actually getting this thing off the ground, then that's another really good approach. And lastly, what you want to do is look on a marketplace, which is a really easy, obvious thing actually. I'm on the legit.com marketplace right now, and if you look at the reviews, that's all you have to do. I won't click in now, but you can click into the reviews and see what people are saying, and basically get a feel for the types of services that sell really well. Because I've been freelancing for a long time and I've been on these marketplaces, I already know what sells really well. So if I take you over to the SEO section, and if you just remember some of the reviews here, so here we go. So you'll see 394 here, 249, 255. So you'll see that the SEO section and the link building and that kind of category sells a lot better than graphics and design. So going back to choosing your service first, don't start with a service, start with a problem, and then think about what people don't like to do, and then finally go to these marketplaces and just check that people are actually paying money for it. I'll show you another example off the top of my head. This should be pretty obvious. If we click on audio and music here, you just know that people aren't going to be buying that. Maybe a few people for a few things, but generally, you see, 2 reviews, 1 review, 1 here, 1. So there's just hardly any reviews, and then we've got nothing down here. All right. So I think you understand my point is those 3 things should help you discover and come up with a service that's going to start making you good money. So I hope that helped, and let's get on to the next video and get stuck in. Cheers.